All right, and you are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. The Philadelphia Eagles lost the Super Bowl because they suck. The Philadelphia Eagles have always sucked. The Philadelphia Eagles suck. And welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there all going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening? I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say? Please feel free, fire away, throw it in the chat box. I usually try to check on it. Chat box I get like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So, as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. Plus, also, sometimes instead of me just like rambling on and on and on for like half an hour, just, it's nice to talk to somebody sometimes. So please throw something in the chat box there. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below is the top link in the description box. It takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second membership level is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them and all and everything. So, if you want to help support my channel, once again, it would mean the absolute world to me. If you are subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. If you're not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, and next time I go live and put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. I can use all the support I can get with my channel. Thank you. And then finally, in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links, okay? The top one takes you to my Facebook. It's a group called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. I say this in every video. My YouTube channel, Facebook group, Facebook page is all pretty much called the New York Giants, the Gridiron, because a moron like me, I can remember. I know it's like, what's my group called? What's the Facebook page called? It's all called the same thing, right? But with the group, what do we got? We have over 2,800 members in there. Okay. I try to get as much stuff in there as I can. I try in the off season, sometimes it's a little difficult, but I'm especially during the regular season, I get at least 10 different, whether it's a post, a picture, a video, something making fun of the Eagles or something making fun of the Cowboys. I got good, at least 3 things today making fun of the Eagles, man. Some funny stuff in there. Boy, I'll tell you what, the Eagle fans do not like it. But I said between me and the members in the group, there's a ton of stuff going in here every day. And then finally, also in the description box below, I got the second link. Okay, takes you to my Facebook page. Once again, New York Giants, the Gridiron, but it's a page. Okay, I'm the administrator. I'm the only one that posts in there. But right now we have 955 people who like it. We're getting close to 1,000 likes. It's awesome. But we have over 3,800 people who are following it. Okay, that's fantastic. It's the same thing. I try to get stuff going in there every day. All right. Now, whether it's I said it was the same thing. Whether it's a video, a post, a picture, something, anything. Okay. I try to put it in there. And I don't commingle. So basically, whatever I put in the group, I don't put in the page, and whatever I put in the page, I don't put in the group, right? So if you go to the page, okay, and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member, between the 2 stuff, between the 2, you get a ton of New York Giants information every day. And like I say in every video, if you're not satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All right, well, all that stuff said and done and out of the way with. Well, it's going to be here before you know. We got when the clock strikes midnight tonight, we're going to have 15 days till the draft. A little over 2 weeks. Because we got Thursday, right? So tomorrow will be Wednesday, right? So we have just a little over 2 weeks. Wow, it's unbelievable, guys. Absolutely unbelievable. Before you know it, it's going to be here. but there are still a couple of guys out there that can, in free agency, okay, that I've been seeing. One of them kind of makes some sense. A little on the older side. Another one kind of makes some sense as well too. I'm kind of leaning like what it seems like the Giants are going to wind up doing is like, they're preparing for the draft. So, I mean, as far as like anything like, they might bring in maybe a free agent, at like a league minimum or something, or somebody on a real cheap, I mean, I don't think they're going to be spending any, decent amount of money right now. I think that looks like they're preparing for the draft, because all things kind of got a little quiet on the free agency front. Like I said, they might bring in somebody here or somebody there, but I don't see anybody like what I see a lot of. Okay. As far as, I see a lot of them talk about, one guy is, obviously is Rock Ya-Sin. All right. Now he's the younger one. I think, what's he going to be? He's 26. He's going to be 27. Yeah, he'll be 27 next month, May 23rd. He'll be 27. So he's still young. He's only played 4 years in the league. Okay. He's one of the guys that I see not, directly connected to the Giants, but somebody the Giants could bring in possibly. He won't break the bank. It says here in this article here, was it from Giants Wire? Rock Ya-Sin is a physical press corner who could come in and start alongside Adoree Jackson immediately. He may not have lived up to his full potential because I think he was a second-round pick. Yeah, second-round pick 34 by the Colts, okay, in 2019. So he was damn close to being a first-round pick, okay? I mean, he's had some nice – the last 2 seasons, he graded out decently. He graded out in the – according to Pro Football Focus, all right? His overall defensive grade, he graded out in the 60s, okay? But it says here in this article, but there's still meat on the bone. Now, he wouldn't necessarily maybe be your number 1 corner, especially if you got Adoree Jackson. But my thing is, it doesn't seem like the Giants could possibly be doing anything else with Adoree. It's like you don't hear nothing about it. These guys, he's young. Adoree Jackson, relatively young. He's a decent corner. The Giants aren't trying to, doesn't seem like they're heard anything as far as them trying to rework his contract at all, or anything, take his cap hit, bring it down, extend his contract another couple years or something. So it looks like they might be possibly thinking about going their own way from Adoree Jackson after this season. Well, so if they are, okay, great. All right. I'm on board with that. It is what it is, that's one of the problems about football being a business. You come in, you get your money and all, but when things get a little tight or this, that, the other thing, you're the first ones to go, because it's a business and now you're out looking for another job. Right. But I mean, if they let him go, they're going, we need a couple cornerbacks. Okay. So, if we let him go, as I said, I mean, don't be surprised if the Giants don't take one of these cornerbacks I'm going to go over here, in the draft, and especially in the first round or maybe second round. Okay. But if they don't get somebody else like Rock Ya-Sin or other gentleman that I'm going to go over here, all right, is Marcus Peters. Okay. Now he's a little older. Okay, the past 2 seasons didn't go as planned in Baltimore, but was largely tied to his preseason ACL injury in 2021 that forced him to miss all of 2021 and a portion of last season. Okay, but I mean, he's got a lot of he's smart, intelligent, and he's got the connection with Wink, a relationship with Wink, all right, dating back to the time in Baltimore. Okay. Another key factor was obviously, the lack of ball production in the Giants secondary last season. I think that's 6 interceptions. I mean, come on. I mean, 6 interceptions not going to cut it in 2023. I mean, he has, let's see here, 32 career interceptions, Marcus Peters. All right. So, but I said, but he's, let's see, what do we got? I mean, he missed all 2021. Last season wasn't horrible. According to Pro Football Focus, he graded out overall at a 65.9. 2020 graded at 67.2. 2019 graded out 83.9. 2017, when he was with Kansas City, graded at 81.3. 2016, his second season in the league, according to Pro Football Focus, he graded out a 79.7. Okay. His coverage grade 2019 was an 86.6. Even 2022 last year was a 67.6. Right. I mean, shut down corner. Nope. I mean, somebody, good, good veteran presence on that you could put maybe a cornerback number 2. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what he would wind up costing, but, there's a couple guys out there that certainly could help the Giants. Now, as I said, I don't see them really bringing in any one of these guys. Look like they're going to, they got Adoree Jackson. They got him this year. We have, we brought in a couple other guys, right, from free agency, but we're probably going to dress somebody in the draft. Could we double dip? Yep, absolutely. If they double dipped in the 2 times, I'm going to say within, say, the first 4 rounds, 3 or 4 rounds, right? I know it'd be kind of tough, but if they did, they'd be looking for kind of like maybe possibly 2 starters or 2 big-time contributors, okay? And if they got somebody in, say, the first round, and then they drafted somebody else in the 6th or 7th round, the 6th or 7th round, obviously, guy would be like more for depth, okay? But I mean, regardless, they're going to need, really could use 2 cornerbacks if they're not going to have. And obviously, you don't have to get them this year because you still have Adoree Jackson. They could, go out and either in free agency, okay, or in the draft, get another cornerback next season, right? That's the luxury of having Adoree Jackson this year, all right? Because you have. As long as he can stay healthy, as long as we don't have him returning any punts, right? You got a very good, solid cornerback. He's not going to get you a lot of interceptions. Never has, probably never will. Solid cornerback, okay? And you got him for this year. So that's the beauty of that. So you can add 1 cornerback this season, but just knowing that if you're not going to obviously re-sign him for next year, you're going to need another one next year. Aaron Robinson, can the guy stay healthy? Who knows, right? Darnay Holmes, this could be his last season. Darnay's had some good plays, but he's not a Shane or Dable guy. He came with the team. If we start bringing in a couple more, we had a bunch of guys, like Zion Gilbert, right? A lot of guys. As I said. Then you got Rodarius Williams, right? He was a healthy scratch the last bunch of games last. So I don't know if he kind of fallen out of favor. So we have guys. It's just that, we need, quality guys. Okay. I said, I'm not sure they're going to maybe have Flott in the slot. I'm a poet. I guess I didn't even know it. But, so they can get the 1 cornerback this year, but we're going to need somebody else. Especially if they're not going to keep Adoree Jackson around after this season, right? So, but the beauty of it, you can get 1 this year, but you're obviously going to need somebody else. That's the one thing about the wing defense, right? You got to have those good cover corners, all right? Which leads you to the draft, okay? That, there's a bunch of guys, okay? Obviously, the first 2-3 rounds, you can certainly find a starter. Okay. There's like 4 guys, a lot of guys that people talking about that may not reach the Giants. The Giants would have to maybe trade up, maybe possibly to get them. Now, I did a mock draft a couple days ago with Pro Football Focus, their simulator. All right. And by the time the Giants, when the Giants were picking at 25, however it worked out, the Giants, Zay Flowers was there, Addison was there, and Joey Porter Jr. was there. And he's supposed to be long gone by the time he reaches the Giants. So if I completed the mock draft, I would have took Joey Porter Jr. Okay, but a lot of people seem to think that there's a few of these guys that are supposed to be long gone. Okay, by the time they wind up reaching the Giants. Okay, and Joey Porter Jr. is one of them. But Witherspoon, I mean, he's one guy from Illinois, right? Let's see, Witherspoon picked the right year to put it all together at an utterly ridiculous level, right? I mean, he did very good in 2022. 2022, he allowed just 22 catches on 62 targets. So basically, 1 out of every 3 throws that went his way, he allowed a reception. 22 catches for 209 yards, 71 yards after the catch. He gave up no touchdowns, had 3 interceptions, had 14 pass breakups, and an opponent passer rating of 25.3. That was by far the lowest passer rating allowed by any FCS cornerback in the 2023 class. Tulsa's Oliver finished second at 37.4. So by far, okay, he was number 1 as far as the passer rating, Witherspoon. Okay. Once again, I think he seems like he's one of those guys, okay, Witherspoon, that won't be there with the Giants. Now, the thing is with the Giants, they can add some quality here. If this was possibly next season, and the Giants were looking for a cornerback. I mean, if they next season they add a couple guys maybe in free agency. No, you don't want to go crazy in free agency, right? But they add a couple more, like adding a Karake or something like that. So I'm saying, like, if we could get a center this year, okay, maybe add another wide receiver or something like that. And we started rounding our team out, and we were only maybe a couple pieces away from really knocking on the door, maybe going far in the playoffs and all this stuff and everything. I could see with the guys that we have this year, like a Witherspoon or Gonzalez, Joey Porter, whatever, I can see the Giants maybe trying to trade up and grab one of those cornerbacks. Don't want to be doing that this year. I really don't think. I mean, if they do, it would be to move up maybe 2 spots, maybe 3 spots, maybe where they trade their first round pick and maybe a 5th round or maybe a 4th, maybe, right? You don't want to be jumping up like 10 spots or something where you got to trade away your 1st and 2nd round pick. That's not happening this year with the Giants. They got too many holes to fill. They need their 1st round pick. They need their 2nd. They need their 3rd. They need to have like basically three. They got to go 3 for 3, and they have to all be maybe the third rounder, maybe not a straight up starter, but a big time contributor. But they need to knock it out of the park with their 1st rounder and their 2nd rounder. Maybe trade back in the 1st round, trade back out of the 1st round into the 2nd round or something, pick up another higher draft pick. Okay. But, the first couple of picks, they got to hit them out of the park. These guys got to be starters. Okay. And then they got to get some good quality depth with their other pieces. All right. But I mean, Witherspoon, he's, as I said, he's one of those guys, obviously one of, I mean, you look, I mean, it's all obviously subjective. You look at Pro Football Focus, they got somebody, they might have Gonzalez number 1. I've seen some places where Porter's number 1. It's all subjective. But I mean, the next guy I want to go over is Gonzalez, okay, from Oregon. He's in basically the top like 3 or 4 cornerbacks in the draft. He did a 4.38 40, fast, right? Vertical jump 41.5, broad jump 133 inches. Very, very good athletic. Let's see. Real stat to know for Gonzalez in 2022 against throws of 20 or more air yards. Okay, he allowed 2 catches on 9 targets for 69 yards. Okay, no touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Metrics aren't always the optimal indicator of performance, but if a cornerback has more interceptions than catches allowed on deep passes, that's probably pretty good. Okay. Gonzalez also best zone cornerback on the list. Okay, so I mean, that's something for the Giants. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be gone by the time the Giants get him. I mean, but the Giants, are not, going to be looking for, looking for the guys who can cover man on man. All right, man to man. I mean, obviously they have zone from time to time, obviously, but I mean, Gonzalez won't be there anyway. But Gonzalez, okay, in zone coverage, he gave up 9 catches on 21 targets in zone last season for 107 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions, and he had 5 pass breakups. Because he's so smooth and athletic through his transition, he can make these kinds of deep drop back look far easier than they are. You don't really get the sense that Gonzalez is physically overwhelmed at any time. So he's a special talent. Now, I said, once again, the Giants would have to trade up for somebody like him. As I said, I said in my mock draft that I did, somehow I set the parameters where somehow Joey Porter Jr. was available for the Giants at 25. I think if Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State was available for the Giants, I think at 25, I think they might have to. They might just turn their card in at the podium. You know what I mean? Just get him. Because it says here, okay, Porter is a natural in man coverage, and it's not just on solo boundary stuff, as he showed on deflection against Northwest. Porter is quite able to break off against a short crosser in cover 1 and just demolish it. Okay, he said you better run that pick concept correctly and get him out of the way if you want the play to succeed. And if you want your cornerback to smother a receiver in man coverage, well, he's the guy for that. Okay. But it says here, there are times when Porter is a bit more vulnerable in zone, okay, or he'll give up short completions that are almost automatic in the scheme. But his 2022 zone defense tape is where the development really shows up. So, I mean, he's very, very he's special, and he's one of those guys. He's one of the 3 or 4 guys that's going to go obviously in the top, top 20. A lot of people seem to think 20, 25, maybe he might reach the Giants. I don't know. But then you got obviously there's Deonte Banks from Maryland. Obviously you hear a lot of nice stuff about him as well too. He's 4.35 in the 40. Once again, fast. Vertical jump 42 inches, broad jump 136 inches. I mean, Jesus God. I mean, wow. You broad jump over 11 feet. That's special. That's special. Let's see. Banks in press coverage was not a great idea last year. Okay. So his press coverage, he allowed 9 catches on 23 pass targets for 46 yards. And only 7 of those targets were deemed successes. So he on press coverage, he allowed 46 yards in receptions, 46 the whole season. Okay, that's for the Giants. The press coverage, right? Banks reps and press coverage are consistently hilarious because it just bust after bust after bust for opposing offenses with very little relief. If he's on you from the first step, his sense of technique and matchability to the receiver creates a suffocating environment for the receivers. Banks will also stick and stay through the entire route, and he has the ability to create pass breakups even when the play is extended and the receiver in question, which that is the one hard thing for a cornerback to do. I mean, sometimes you can maybe get the route, do a good job at covering. But sometimes if the quarterback just rolls out and he's running around for an extra few seconds, sometimes it's really hard to keep up with the receivers. I mean, you can only cover guys for so long sometimes, but, he does a very good job of that. Banks does a very good job at that, So he's another one of those guys, that would be a fantastic pick for the Giants if he were to make it to the Giants. Then another guys you got from South Carolina. Okay, you got Cam Smith. Okay, obviously hearing a lot of good things about him as well too. Looks like he got a 4.43 in the 40-yard dash. Once again, 4.4 in the 40. Very good. Okay. Broad jump 134 inches. Phenomenal. Okay. Vertical jump 38 inches. Still, I mean, that's good. I mean, it ain't 40, but Please. 38-inch broad jump. Fantastic. Let's see. In main coverage last season, okay, Smith allowed just 7 catches on 23 targets for 53 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions, 4 pass breakups, and opponent passer rating 21.8. That's what the Giants need, right? That's what the Giants, I mean, in press coverage, main coverage, right? So 7 catches on 23 targets for 53 yards. Smith is also excellent off coverage because he anticipates routes so well. And he closes to the receiver quickly. Once he's on your track, you'll have a tough time shaking him. Okay. That's another, I mean, that a lot of here, he would probably be available for the Giants at 25. Now, the Giants got to start looking, some of these guys, what I hear from a lot of the mock drafts and all that stuff and everything is, some guys have like 5 or 6 cornerbacks and maybe have a first round grade. Okay. Now Mel Kiper Jr., okay, this next guy just put a mock draft up. Okay. Now every time they put a mock draft up, they basically give the team a different player. Okay. All right. But as a Cam Smith, he's a special player. But the DJ Turner from Michigan, okay, Mel Kiper Jr. just put a new mock draft out, and he mocked DJ Turner to the Giants. Okay, now talk about fast, right? 4.26 in the 4. He's not a huge guy, okay, but fast. He's only 178 pounds, okay? Not, what do we got? Broad jump, 131, 38.5-inch vertical, great, fantastic athlete, okay? But, he was mocked to the Giants by Mel Kiper Jr. But Mel Kiper is going to have another mock draft, and he'll mock somebody else to the Giants. But, Turner will be there for the Giants, should be there for the Giants at 25, okay, if they wanted to take him. It says here, a lot of cornerbacks on this list are great when pressing receivers, but you'll struggle to find too many who are better in off coverage than Turner is. Okay, so he's good both, all right? But once again, he's fast, all right? Last season, he allowed 9 catches on 21 off coverage targets for 93 yards. Turner excels in off coverage because his recovery speed is real, and it is spectacular. As at 4.26 seconds. I think that was the 4th fastest time, I think, since 2003. I think it said at the combine. Moreover, he's confident enough in it to flow smoothly from play to play without a lot of anxiety. Even if you turn him completely around, he'll put himself back together and make it up for it in ways that opposing quarterbacks must find shocking when they review the tape. Turner is fast when he needs to be, but he's also patient through routes, and he knows when and how to play the receivers and how to close on the ball. He's great against the shorter, more angular routes that give a lot of athletic cornerbacks fits. Okay. Now, one problem with him, he's not the most physical opposing quarterback on the list. All right, he's not 6 foot tall. He's only 178 pounds. So, the one thing is with somebody like with Turner. Okay, would be like if, say if he puts on some weight, right? Say if he puts on, say, 10, 15 pounds, just saying. Say he goes up to 188 pounds. Say he puts on 10 pounds. What's that going to do for the speed? Is he going to be able to keep it or in the 4.2s, or is he going to put him in the 4.3s, The next guy here is Tomlinson from TCU. I've seen a lot of good things about him. I mean, he'll be there for the Giants if they wanted to take him. Broad jump 132 inches, vertical 39, 4.41 on the 40. Right. Let's see. His tape and metrics scream excellence. So we're really talking about how his size does or doesn't show up in a negative sense for projection. Let's see here. His size, 5'8". Okay, so and he's 178 pounds still. Okay, so that's going to be something that 5'8". All right. But I said, he's somebody there, let's see. He was nuking deep receivers all over the place, allowing just 4 catches on 21 targets of 20 or more air yards for 109 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, and an opponent passer rating of 9.1. Okay. Outside of Illinois' Devin Witherspoon, no other cornerback on this list came anywhere near Hodges Tomlinson's ability to shut down the deep ball. Okay, so he's very good on the deep ball. Okay, but I said, once again, he's small. All right, how is he going to be in the run game? And if he has to put on some weight, just say what's they going to do for his speed. All right, but once again, Tomlinson will be there. Now I'm not sure if he'll be there. Like say maybe in the second round. Don't know. I'm not sure if any who, if any of these guys might be still around in the second round. Emmanuel Forbes from Mississippi State, 4.35 in the 40. All right. 37.5-inch vertical, broad jump 124. Nothing super spectacular there. The one thing is also like with these cornerbacks is a lot of times, things will kind of go along and, you get a draft pick here, a draft pick there. You get to maybe number 10, 11. Maybe Gonzalez was taken, now you're getting to 13 to 14. Then like say Joey Porter gets taken, the next person takes Witherspoon. Then like 2 or 3 teams after that, they need a cornerback. They're like, holy crap, all the cornerbacks are taken. Then they grab somebody and somebody else grabs it. Sometimes you get a rush on them, so that's the problem with the Giants had being picking number 25, right? If they were picking 5 and 7 like they were last year, they'll have to, pick any of these guys. But let's see here. With his interception numbers, you assume that Forbes has excellent ball skills, and that checks out. He's got a great sense for slow playing quarterbacks. Forbes will also use his height and crazy wingspan to replace a receiver's catch radius as his own. So he's got a good wingspan. Okay. Comparison: Samari Roll. They compare Forbes to Samari Roll. So Kelly Ringo from Georgia. Okay, a lot of things about him. 4.36 in the 40. Right, he's 6'1", almost 6'2", 207 pounds. Very, very well built. Okay, 4.36. He's almost 6'2", 207 pounds. Very impressive. Okay. Ringo in man coverage in 2022, he gave up 17 catches on 33 targets for 232 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, and an opponent passer rating of 61.7. Ringo in zone coverage in 2020 gave up 15 catches out of 30 targets for 203 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and an opponent passer rating of 80.3. If you were only allowed to watch Ringo cover receivers in a relatively straight line down the field, you could be excused for wanting to select him in the top 10. But there are instances of Ringo making advances against his liability, staying in phase and preventing plays beyond the first move. If he can build on it, so he has some weaknesses. Ringo is good straight line cornerback, but things get weird when he's asked to take angles and make quick transitions. Okay. So he's got some liability. So I'm saying, the first guys in the first 3 or 4 or 5 guys or so, all right, they're going to take it, you're going to have some real good, complete cornerbacks. Okay. Once you start getting the guys like, and then you got like Kelly Ringo. Okay. And next guy here is Julius Brents. You're going to start having, they're going to be very, very solid, but they're going to have, it's going to be like pick your flavor of ice cream. You know what I mean? Do you want somebody, who's maybe better in press coverage, or do you want somebody better in zone? You want somebody who's, who's speedy, somebody who's better in the run, Once you get out of that first round, then you're going to have to start, picking and choosing, right? But Brent's here, 6 foot, almost 6'3", okay, 198 pounds, big, 4.53 in the 40, okay, Vertical jump, 41.5 inches. Broad jump, Jesus God, 138 inches on the broad jump. Holy crap. My God. He's 6'3". Wow. Very, very good, right? I said Brent's only lined up in press coverage on 30% of his 2022 snaps. So he didn't line up. Most of the time he didn't, okay? Which is, they're pointing out, which is kind of weird because he's so big, right? I mean, he could do some good jamming at the line of scrimmage. Why wouldn't you want him covering, press coverage most of the time? Brent uses his size as an advantage in that if the ball's anywhere near him, it's as much his as yours. Some of his interceptions happened just because he was close to the ball and he was able to go all superhero to get it. That allows him to adjust in quick twitch situations where some of the other bigger cornerbacks might struggle. Okay, so I mean he's a big guy. All right. If I'm Brent's NFL defensive coordinator, I'm asking him to press receivers quite a bit more than he did last season. He's tough to elude if he can get right up on you from the first step. Okay, but also it says Brent's is good in off coverage because recovery speed is good enough, and again that he has good wingspan. Okay, so I mean, he's somebody there the Giants can obviously take as well too. Now, it's going to be interesting to see which one of these guys, okay, will obviously still be there. If they pass on somebody in the first round, how many of these guys will still wind up being there, like say in the second round? There's another guy here, Tyreek Stevenson. Okay. He's from the U. Okay. Stevenson looks like a prototypical outside corner, standing at 6 foot tall, weighing 198 pounds. Okay, he ran a 4.4540. He's long and strong enough in his core to steer receivers to the sideline without getting grabby with his hands. He'll line up and press at times, where Stevenson has a quick and powerful punch. His ball skills are good, and he plays with an extremely confident and competitive demeanor. He's tall, with long arms to match. With his powerful hands, straight line speed, and fluidity in his hips, turning and chasing downfield shouldn't be a problem. He can track the ball downfield. Very physical and man and press corner. He has good arm length, okay? And he said he's a technician in press coverage with a strong punch and the ability to reroute receivers, okay? So he's somebody that would certainly obviously be there for the Giants, quite possibly in the second round. Some of these guys might even be in there in the third round. But then the last guy I want to talk about is Garrett Williams from Stanford. All right. A lot of the publications put him in there quite a bit. Okay. Strengths here. He can track the ball downfield and gets his head around when playing in a trail position. And Williams shows excellent ball skills when breaking on a route. He's a plus tackler and run support as well, which is huge. Okay, because we know the Giants, were lacking in that. Now, it wasn't so much like the cornerback play. It was a lot of the stuff just up the middle, huge holes, or sometimes when they got around the edge was because like Kayvon he would just come crashing down, right? And sometimes it bit Kayvon in the ass. He was supposed to maybe have the edge, set the edge. Well, it looked like the ball was getting handed off and it was going to be, go the opposite way from Kayvon. Kayvon would come crashing down the line of scrimmage to try to make the tackle. Well, if you're possibly there to set the edge and you're crashing down there, well, what happens if the quarterback still has the ball and he runs around the edge and takes the frick off? That happened a lot, all right? So when that winds up happening, that's when you need, your corners to be able to come up and, and support in the run game, right? But he shows outstanding explosion and decent long speed. His length and leaping ability allowed him to high point the ball and make plays. Williams would have the bigger interception numbers in college had opposing quarterbacks not gone out of their way to avoid him. Has the loose hips that enable him to be fluid, all right? does a good job with his getting his head around in time and playing with his back to the line of scrimmage, which is huge, very important. Those back shoulder fades and all of that. Really solid tackler and an asset on run defense, which is great. Reads and reacts instinctively to the quarterback moves and will rarely bite on play fakes. Good. Very quick and very confident cover corner. Plays bigger than his listed size when lined up in press coverage. So, so he's good in press coverage. Okay. He's good in run support. All right. Let's see, 4.5 under 40, nothing super spectacular. 5'10". Okay. 192 pounds, acceptable size, that's for sure. But I mean, there's a ton of guys, ton of guys out there, and then it said after the Giants, if they pass, there certainly could be somebody, if they want to double dip, or in later rounds, there's be somebody there too. What's up, Terrence? Like the idea of a cornerback at 25. Also wouldn't be mad with Darius Rush at 57. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, as I said, it's gonna depend. Where the Giants have their board and all that. Because sometimes you get you get the rush. If you got like 4 or 5 cornerbacks, maybe have first round grades on. Just say, right. The Giants are back there at 25. I don't know if they're going to want to, couple a first rounder and a third rounder together, maybe to jump up 6 or 7 spots to grab one of these guys. They can use all those the top, 1, 2, first 3, 4 round. Well, they can use those because they need a lot of contributors. I can see maybe next year where they might want to couple of picks up together and jump up in the draft, but. So a lot of these top guys may not be there for the Giants when they get to 25. It's also just going to depend, like same thing like with receivers, right? Say if, Jigba goes, right? And then somebody takes Addison and then Flowers is gone. And, there might be a run on wide receivers. It might be the same thing here with cornerbacks. But the top 3 or 4, okay, they may not reach the Giants, okay? Those are the real good, solid guys. Then you start getting to the guys maybe in the second and third round, good contributors. You get contributions out of them. Okay, they may not be a lockdown corners and stuff like that. They might have to be your second cornerback number 2, which is fine. But you got to have to remember is that after this season, if we're not doing nothing with Adoree Jackson, and he goes bye because of the money, right? We're going to need a number 1. So. If you're gonna grab a cornerback in the second round, oh, okay, cool. The second, third round is really deep class. So you can probably get a good cornerback in the second or third round. Get him out there, and he can big time contributor for you. But as I said, if we're gonna let Adoree Jackson go, all right, yeah, we're gonna let cornerback number 1 go next year. But I mean, the nice thing about having Adoree Jackson this year is we still have our cornerback number 1. But you got to remember, right? Between this year and next year, we really could use 2 cornerbacks because, I mean, I said, like Zion Gilbert, okay, but I mean, is he somebody you want as your starter? Or Darius Williams, he was a healthy scratch the last 4 or 5 games, right? Darnay Holmes, I don't know. I mean, he's not a Shane or Dable guy, right? Cordell Flott will be around because he was a draft pick. Aaron Robinson, can the guy stay healthy? I really got nothing against them, but I mean, once again, your best ability is your availability, and he can't stay on the field. Then we have some other guys. We got the guy, was it Johnson? I think the undrafted free agent from Duke. We got the other guy from I always have a hard time pronouncing his name. Guy from Detroit, who 2 seasons ago was very good. Last season, he did not do very well at all. I think that's one of the reasons why he became available. But if we get somebody in the second round, I'm cool with that. I think possibly even in the third round. I don't know if you'd want to go that far, but if our third round pick was a cornerback, I think he could be cornerback number 2. But you're gonna have to get a cornerback number 1. The thing is, if you wind up getting somebody, if like Joey Porter, one of these guys falls to you in the first round, you grab them. Okay. So now you might have your cornerback number one for next year, right? So if Joey Porter was say to fall, it was at 25. Now you got Adoree Jackson, you got Joey Porter Jr., right? So you got two good cornerbacks this season. If you let Adoree Jackson go, maybe slide, Porter over to cornerback number one, but then you got to grab another cornerback. So that's the one thing. I mean, it's not like, we need one running back, between this year and next year, or we could use a defensive tackle or something. We can use two cornerbacks, unfortunately, but we had two good ones, but the way Gettleman set up the salary cap, we had Adoree Jackson and we had Bradbury. We had two very good corners, but just couldn't afford to keep them around. Well, guys, it's been 45 minutes. Me shoot my mouth off. Anybody spent any time watching me? Thank you. Or if anybody spends any time watching the replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. All the help I can get, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And as always, Terrence, thank you for the comment. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.